You might notice that we're really only looking at up to 6 geometries.
Oh hi, I didn't see you there. I was just getting my brain ready to do another spirit science video because I'm about to, or will have, hit 40,000 YouTube subscribers when this video comes out. So I wanted to do something that I know a lot of you enjoy, for some me-forsaken reason. Oh well, back to work. These brain cells aren't gonna smash themselves. Play it again, will you?
You might notice that we're really only looking at up to 6 geometries.
For those of you who have absolutely no goddamn idea what's going on, this is in fact a sequel to this video. I know, I haven't followed through with one of these in ages, so if you haven't already seen it, link in the description. That way you can return and upgrade to just no idea what's going on, because this is still spirit science and still makes no sense with or without context. Also, fun fact, that video is the first appearance of IRL Sick, so it all comes together. Anyway, enough about me, back to the gibberish.
This is because as we're evolving, we're moving from a 3rd dimensional awareness to a 5th dimensional awareness. And
we're just straight up skipping to the 4th dimensional awareness apparently. We just don't have time for that. You know, I technically get paid to write these jokes. Sorry about that.
So these are the ones that we need to understand. These geometries also work in tandem with the chakras. Everything is connected.
Well, of course. You see how this biscuit is connected with an unbreakable... Wait.
So we have the 4 elements down, which means there are 2 more geometries to look at. Well, actually 3, but the Merkaba is a whole video on its own.
No thanks. Do you know how long it takes me to get through just part of one of your videos? I'm not subjecting myself to extra credit. I don't think there are enough hours in the day to cover even half the nonsense you push out of that butthole masquerading as a face.
The 5th geometry is the Dodecahedron.
Now, you keep referring to these 3D shapes as geometries, as if that's something that makes sense, but geometry is fundamentally just a way of measuring things, including these shapes, and geometries, as far as I can tell, would only describe the different forms of geometry, like algebraic, convex, finite, or synthetic, among many, many, many others. Not one of them called shapes of magic geometry, though, so, you know.
Which I associate to being the life geometry.
You would. And you associate. Is that just you? Does that mean that even woo peddlers look at spirit science and are like, yeah, this guy, you know, who thinks the dodecahedron means life? We all know it's Flimladog, the great spider god's left testicle.
Not creating life itself, but the expression of consciousness through the other 4 elements.
Ow! I clearly did not preemptively splatter enough grey matter. BRB, guys. That's better. Now, why am I going to video? Dizzy.
Think of it like your awareness of each of the other elements. The awareness of your physical manifestation. The awareness of your emotional self. Your mental self.
The awareness that this is what you chose to do for a living. That every week you have to listen to yet more incoherent rambling. The awareness that soon your mind will break and all the stored up woo will spill out of your mouth and you have become that which you detest most. Oh, it was just a whiskey-fueled nightmare. Anyway, time for more whiskey. What?
And the realization and awareness of your spiritual self as well.
My spiritual self? Oh, you do not want him. He's more of a, let's just say, negative intelligence individual than you.
We have 5 platonic geometries that form everything in creation, but we don't have a hexagonal shape.
See, this is why I hate doing your videos and why it takes me so long. What the hell was that supposed to mean? I can't even make fun of it. 5 platonic geometries that form everything in creation. And, oh no, we don't have a hexagonal shape. What will we do? Someone inform the press. This This is why I drink.
If we look at the flower of life, we see that its ultimate basic form is in a 6-pointed shape, called a hexagon.
Oh, thank you for telling us this kindergarten level of shape recognition. That was information that I didn't know till I was about, 3 years old, probably? Thanks for telling us the name of this mystery shape. Give it 500 years and you'll be president, I'm sure.
Want to see where else hexagons form in life?
No, not really, but I'm sure you're going to show me anyway. Just make sure you do it in as long and as dragged out a way as possible, yeah? Oh, for God's sake, I was taking the Waz. Fast forward this. Right, so you'll notice that most of these are lattice-esque, densely packed series of hexagons taking up what you may also notice is the least amount of space possible. In fact, you have given us a nice example of this with the bubbles. You see, bubbles form hexagons like that because it takes up the least surface area relative to the pressure inside them. Essentially, the same thing happens with all sorts of other things, with maybe slightly different causes, but it's all about efficient use of space, because certain things can't help but do that. I will tell you what it's not, though. Mystical.
We have all of these hexagons, and yet there is no platonic solid that is formed with a hexagon.
So shockingly, platonic solids isn't something that old blue balls here, I'm assuming they're blue. It would be weird if they weren't, wouldn't it? I mean, what colour could they be? Or does he even have them? Or is his head just a giant... Sorry, lost my train of thought there. He didn't make up platonic solid. It's actually a thing. It's simply a 3D shape that is made up of several identical 2D shapes that all have the same angles, etc. And that's the reason there isn't a hexagonal platonic solid. In fact, there are only these 5, and 3 of them are made of triangles. Not that it's relevant to the cosmic brouhaha, so calm down, but there also aren't any heptagon, octagon, nonagon, and so on and so on and so on-agon. Is that important? I'm guessing no.
So, what gives?
I don't know. You were dropped on your head as a child and your brain fell out? I mean, it would explain the patch on your head, and brain surgery is very difficult, especially when your doctor is as drunk as your mother. I mean, one of them had to drop you, and any sober person wouldn't let someone so out of it hold a baby, would they? So it stands to reason.
Well, I want to introduce the vector equilibrium, which was coined by Buckminster Fuller.
That is not a platonic solid, or even made up of hexagons. Are you even trying? These shapes smell weakness, you know, and will attack in droves.
It is actually formed from 3 two-dimensional hexagons that swivel around each other, and its basic shapes that make it up are an equilateral triangle and the square.
What? That doesn't even follow your stupid rules. You were just saying there wasn't one made with a hexagon when the other 4 have triangles, square and pentagons. But no, not only do you not show us a platonic solid, it doesn't even have a hexagon in it. You could have just said the icosahedron. And no, I really don't care if I pronounce that word right. Thank you, random pedant. But you could have just said this shape makes a hexagon depending on what angle you look at it. If this is the new nonsense, or if this, oh lol, it doesn't need to be a platonic solid, haha. Well then why don't you just use a truncated icosahedron? It has hexagons in it, but I guess that saying really long names makes your brain pop out of your head flap or something. I can't believe I'm genuinely angry about friggin' polygons.
These are the 2 smallest shapes that you can make with straight lines, and together they balance at each other's corners to create the perfect shape.
Oh, of course, it's the perfect shape. So I, of course, looked it up. This obviously famous perfect shape It's the first thing that's going to come up when I type in the perfect shape. It's going to come up with some university or famous science institution espousing the values of this, the perfect shape, that everyone is aware of, and I'm just a moron because I haven't heard of it. And the top result is a weight loss website. Brilliant.
Why is it the perfect shape?
Well, that is the question, isn't it? And more importantly, why have you given it the wrong name? Because I did yet more interneting and couldn't find the vector equilibrium anywhere on anything but clearly woo websites. I also thought that the vector equilibrium doesn't sound very much like a proper name for a shape, till eventually I found out what the real name of this thing is. It's a Cuboctahedron. Not really all that exciting, and nowhere could I find under that name it referred to as this alleged the perfect shape. Almost like you're pulling this stuff right out of your backside patch.
Well, amazing physicist of the future Nassim Haramein has put together a movie called Black Hole that explains this.
Nassim Haramein, eh? You know, I think I've heard of him. Yeah, he's got a YouTube channel, right? You know what, let's just click on one of his random videos and see what kind of intellectual titan and amazing physicist from the future we are dealing with. Nassim Haramein, interview black holes, sacred geometry and unified field theory. Yep, the guy's a famous woo peddler, and funny story, he keeps getting Wikipedia pages taken down about him on notability grounds, and I don't think that's fair. No, he should get a page based on the fact that he's full of crap. That's pretty notable, right? Also, physicist of the future. He was born in the 60s, for Christ's sakes.
The reason is that every single line which is connected in this shape is the same distance away from every other point, including the very center of the shape itself.
Okay, I'll take your word for that, and I'll take your word for it that it is unique in that fact. So what? Still doesn't make it any more magic than my toenail clippings, and at least they have nutritional value. Tangy.
Not even the Platonic solids have that definition, which also makes this the most stable shape and polyhedron.
But it's not a Platonic solid, so that's, like, so relevant. Not all shapes share the same properties. Some have unique properties. Some groups have properties only within said groups. It doesn't make any of them special. Interesting, certainly, but not, holy crap, we just worked out that time is shaped like a banana, special. And even if it were, that still wouldn't say anything about the, big quotes, meaning of anything.
And the basis of the three-dimensional flower of life.
Hi, Editing Sick here, and I just had to interject at the 11th hour because I noticed something that just kind of blew my mind. Now, I get it, he's nearly always wrong, but this was such a fundamental thing and I can't believe he messed it up, which is why I didn't notice until now. But that 3D flower of life is not a Cuboctahedron or whatever silly woo name he gave it. It's not based on it. It is very clearly an icosahedron. I just had to call him out on this because it just shows he literally doesn't pay any attention whatsoever to the things he's showing. Sorry about that. Now back to your regularly scheduled stupid joke. Oh god, the flower of life has gone PlayStation 1 graphics. We're all doomed. Or saved. I have no idea what any of this means. Probably nothing.
Finally, the only reason it's not a Platonic solid is because it has both squares and triangles within it.
No, that's not the only reason it's not a Platonic solid. Platonic solids are a very, very specific set of shapes. Like I said, there's like 5 of them total, and I can't believe I have spent the last God knows how long looking at shapes for the sake of some moron who probably can't tell his physiognomy from a pentadecagon. It's got 15 sides and it kind of looks like an anus. Do you want pretty okay clothes at fairly alright prices? Then head on over to Sir Six Merch Store. There you can buy sick brand merch and not a lot else. Who needs food, water or accommodation when you can have a hoodie with my face on it? No one, that's who. I can't even afford them because I have a home. like a moron. So get on over today before these printed to order clothes run out somehow. And you're gonna need a lot of them when you're sleeping outside on the ground with your family like that. It's cold out there. I do envy you.